Welcome to a speed build of me converting the 1890s farmhouse of the Randalls to a 1900s farmhouse. It's in my Sims gallery, and my Sims gallery ID is Pamela417. And if you ever want to watch any of me playing this without any of my edits that I'm still getting better at, honestly, you can use the same handle, Pamela417, on Twitch. So here's me tearing down the farmhouse and trying to replicate one from 1900. And fun fact, the price is on and the little side capture. So you can see that it only cost $874 back in 1900. So cool. So I got the floor plan from a 1900s farmhouse. Not convinced it was a farmhouse, but farmhouse style. Had to do a lot of moving. To reorganize the back, get the animals out of the way, to make sure I had enough space to move to make the farmhouse long instead of wide. The one I had previously was a very wide farmhouse because I had graciously downloaded it from someone in the gallery, and this time I wanted to create my own. That right there is a greenhouse that is a room that I downloaded in the gallery. It's called Grandma's Greenhouse, and I wanted to have it because I figured, I don't know, the 1900s just seemed like they would have a greenhouse. It was expertly created and the work was so wonderful, but I had to take some of the stuff out, just not because I couldn't have it for the challenge, but because there were things that I wanted to put in there. I wanted all of their woodworking and craft things that they were doing outside to now be inside the greenhouse. So none of the plants are actually in the greenhouse. It's more like a workhouse. But, you know, it's fine. It's going to work out. It's going to pan out. So now there's a place for the laundry to be covered. So that way when it's drip drying and it rains constantly in Henford in certain seasons, we can get laundry done a little faster without having to have 1,500 clotheslines. So I reorganized everything. And started to build. Played around with it. Finally got a shape that I decided worked. If you've ever seen me build anything else, which if you haven't, please check out the other speed builds on my channel, I tend to build way too big. For some reason, I can't tell in The Sims how big a square is, which you'd think, you know, square foot, but I don't think that's exactly how it works. I think it's like 4 square. So I made the porch, the mudroom, and the parlor. The parlor is where they would do all of their entertaining. It's like a living room. I added the dining room, the downstairs bedroom, and that back part is the kitchen, which is speaking to my I build things way too big. And this is me hating stairs. Again, always hating stairs. Upstairs, I just made it work with the shape of the stairs because I couldn't get the same shape from the plans, which is fine. I just needed the plans as a basic outline for what I was going to do. Roofs, the other bane of my existence, will forever be missing auto roof in The Sims. I have discovered new roofs that I like, though, that are working out for me, and I have gotten much better at it. So if you didn't think that the way I just built that roof was great, then you don't even know how bad it was before. The woods, I'm trying to get the woods to all match. I decided to put siding. Clearly it wouldn't be vinyl siding, they would be painting their house, but a white farmhouse is a good whitewash. And they can have Tom Sawyer trick Huckleberry Finn. Oh no, he doesn't trick Huck. He tricks all the neighbor kids into whitewashing his fence. I can speak. So the door, and then I was getting farmhouse was the style that I looked up, and it just didn't work for me all the way. So sometimes I switched out to just other windows. I do wish there was a material search in build mode, so I could have said wood. That might not work for build mode. It might only work for like the furnishings. But it would have been convenient. Everything in old homes is separated by doors. The only reason I put the archway from the kitchen to the dining room was for my own personal preference. There would have been a door. I don't know if you've ever watched any British TV, but the fact that they've got a living room going into their door and their kitchen, like that's how houses were built. My grandfather has a turn of the century, the first century home, and the doors are now removed to make it more open flow, but every single room had a door. And the reason behind that was to help with the heat. So you only had to heat whatever room that you were in at the time, and you didn't have to worry about anything. Fun fact, the reason houses were so short a really long time ago was not because people were short, but just to help keep the heat in. Look, I've educated you. So I'm just adding things like the floors and fireplaces, windows. So then I went to the rules for the Decade Challenge because I wanted to make sure that I was following the rules correctly. And I'm allowed to have wallpaper and upholstery now, so I went through and wallpapered. And the furniture is going to be soft looking or softer. I decided to go very plain with the wallpaper just because we're not super fancy yet. I mean, I know that wallpaper has been around for longer than 1900, right? They were wallpapering 1700s homes. But it's the rules of the challenge. So I decided that it would be very minimalistic wallpaper. And again, I was trying to channel my grandfather's home, and some of the wallpaper is pretty funky. So in the parlor, I got a little fancier with it. And I went boring in the bedrooms because that's how it was at my grandfather's house. This is also me assuming that my grandfather's house had never been renovated since it was built, of course. I can have electricity now, so I can put them back on the grid. So that will make things work out. I'm still going to keep simple living just because I feel like they really should only have what they have, right? That's a very realistic way of living with anything. So I started with building in the kitchen. Oh, that's when I put it back on the grid. I decided that a little bathroom should be downstairs. A lot of turn-of-the-century homes only had one bathroom, which is just so fascinating to me why it would only have one. A lot of times it was upstairs, just because that's where you would be doing all of your bathing and things. I guess maybe when they decided that you didn't bathe in your own room anymore or in the kitchen, you just only needed that one bathroom. So I put one down in the kitchen just because there was extra space there, and I have so many Sims. You know, you can't tell a Sim not to pee themselves because another Sim is using the bathroom. I'm allowed to have indoor plumbing, in case you're wondering why the toilet has made itself inside, which is just great. So they have fewer bathrooms than when they had outhouses, but, you know, trying to stay true to form. in the plans for the house that I downloaded, there weren't any bathrooms. So clearly, this house, when it was built, still had outhouses, which I think is fascinating. Maybe that's why it was only $874. Don't know accurately how much to reasonably expect from a home in the year 1900, but what I do know is that if the inflation of homes stayed at the same pace as our food and paychecks, that houses would still only cost like $75,000. So I don't know what a reasonable home price would be. I feel like if a reasonable home price is 50 grand, then 874 is probably a very expensive house. Got to have little cushy chairs. It is sad that I now have the chairs that Mr. Randall made and they are now gone because I just bulldozed the house. I didn't think about it. I didn't put any of the stuff he made in the inventory. So I can't even go back and add it to someplace or keep it in the inventory to like give to one of his daughters as a parting gift. But I added carpets and cute chairs. The parlor is getting a couch and a sitting space, and it will receive a bookshelf and a phonograph because they can listen to music now for fun. All of the crocheting and the knitting, and I had to cheat to put it on the shelf because I really don't understand why the phonograph wouldn't just go on a shelf. And made some final touches, and the home was ready to live in. I was excited for real lamps, not just candles. I noticed the pond was a little lumpy, so I fixed it. And then I tested out to make sure everything worked. Viewed my little beautiful sleepy chickens, my farm. Everyone can walk through the doors. I was assigning some beds. Just really excited to do some gameplay in this new home. Thank you for watching my transition. See you next time.